somebody in a Honda, somebody in a minivan. Yo, people in minivans don't care about nothing. Like, they don't care about nothing, people in minivans. It's either a Honda, a minivan, a lady, or like a elderly person. God forbid it's a older lady driving a Honda minivan. Just get off the road. Just pull over and park until they're like 10 miles away from you.
Someone is hungry. A person in a minivan. Hey, those that drive minivans don't give a damn. They don't give a damn. Individuals in minivans. It's either an elderly person, a lady, a Honda, or a minivan. Oh no, it's an elderly woman operating a Honda minivan. Simply, and stop driving. Stop and park till they are around 10 kilometers away. People can't stop talking. There are whispers everywhere. From phone screens to group chats, from comment sections to late-night talks with friends. It seems impossible to keep up with the speed at which the rumors are circulating. Many people now think Papoose might have regained Claressa's favor in music. She sounded worn out, uncertain, and burdened by something that was difficult for her to describe just a short while before. Her voice was filled with the kind of melancholy that results from feeling disoriented, like someone who is circling around without knowing where to go. She talked candidly about how the only place she felt at ease was during her training camp. Gloves, perspiration, and the relentless beat of labor were all there inside those walls. She claimed to be able to breathe at last. That area turned into her safe haven. The one location where her heart felt solid once more and the sounds of the outside world subsided. Then, practically overnight, everything was different. Her vitality changed. Her voice softened. The weight that had been attached to her remarks appeared to vanish. The change was immediately observed by fans. She sounded hurt and perplexed one day. The next time, she appeared to have made the decision to proceed as if nothing had gone wrong. The public takes notice of such a swift turn. Questions began to come up. There were some common theories. Others just kept a careful eye on things to see what would come next. No new images or videos were available to explain this abrupt shift. However, some with knowledge of the matter asserted that something significant was taking place behind closed doors. Claressa and Papoose's quiet seemed more powerful than any remark made in the public. It was easy to feel the tension, even from a distance. It seemed like a precarious situation where everything could fall apart with a single misstep. Simultaneously, focus turned to Remy's latest posts. Suddenly, brief captions that had previously been lighthearted or innocuous were being interpreted differently. A comment about purchasing for both yourself and someone else suddenly sounded more like a covert message than a lighthearted idea. Each phrase turned into a riddle. In an attempt to determine the true intended audience for such posts, fans became detectives. Then an old Remy video appeared again. The time was nearly ideal. People stopped and took another look when it appeared about the time Papoose landed in New York. The fact that the clip appeared at that precise moment felt deliberate, even if it wasn't brand new. Someone had to look for it, get it from its original location, and then share it once more. It quickly gained traction after it appeared on social media. Come on, do you get it? You won't be referred to as a mistress, a side piece, or any of these other terms. And giving you the impression that they are being honest. And I'll assume that look. My kid is staying with me. To be clear, I would never, ever desire complete custody, as my attorney will tell you all. From flooded into joint custody. Discussions started. The drama intensified. The video turned into yet another segment of a narrative that already seemed to be full of unanswered questions. Behind the scenes, rumors circulated that Claressa was not content. She made an effort to maintain her composure on the outside, but many who knew her well said there was a lot of resentment inside. She appeared most troubled by what transpired each time Papoose went to New York. He would abruptly stop talking, based on what was being said. He informed her that he was preoccupied with work, managing business, and maintaining concentration. However, she felt uncomfortable over the extended periods without calls or messages. Her imagination started to fill in the blanks, because silence has a way of telling its own stories. The tension immediately became apparent when he eventually came back. Claressa began making the connections. The stories people kept emailing her, the messages she had seen online, and the whispers she had heard all started to fit together in a way that did not seem good. It didn't sit well with her at all. According to sources, Papoose accompanied her to training and pretended nothing was wrong. He made a joke. He grinned. He remained near as though nothing had ever gone wrong. He later followed her home and made an effort to reassure her. He assured her that it was all just gossip, noise, attention seekers, and drama. She didn't really trust him this time, though. The timing seemed too ideal. Everything seemed to fit together in a way that felt planned rather than organic, including the quiet excursions, the unexpected posts, and the odd films. She had an inner voice telling her to follow her gut, then took a different path. Images and recordings of Remy's started to circulate once more, and a brief video went viral. She was trying on a fur coat in it. A man's voice could be heard in the background. It sounded just like Papoose, according to many. The internet took off. Comments flooded in. Some chuckled, some quarreled, and some insisted on answers. The voice, according to Papoose, was fake. He claimed that artificial intelligence was used to develop it. Social media went into a frenzy only based on that explanation. In a world where technology could replicate voices, faces, and even entire events, people began discussing what could and could not be believed. Claressa's tone changed once more after that. At one point, she discussed how she found serenity through music at her boxing camp and how her concentration on her training made her feel closer to God. She yelled at the same admirers who had been cheering her on the next. She immediately called for everyone. Thus, in most cases, you are not too blind to recognize that the images and videos were fraudulent. According to insiders, Papacia's remarks may have forced her to adopt his perspective once more. Those observing from the outside started to get concerned. With every day that went by, the story became more intricate and nuanced. People began dissecting everything gradually as the drama intensified, attempting to make sense of what seemed like an increasing mystery. They shifted their attention to the Papoose. His name was linked to the numbers 87 and 33, according to some fans who started running it through numerical patterns. These figures did not seem random to them. They think they were pointing to something that was hidden, something that most people were unable to see. People behaved like full-time investigators on the internet. Videos were paused. They paid close attention to comments. Timelines were compared. Every little thing was important. Every tiny action was examined. This story seems to have gone too far in terms of, it was no longer merely odd. Something significant seemed to be on the verge of being revealed. After that, there was discussion concerning the meaning of the number 87. Spy was the first word that came up. Just that song started a never-ending conversation. Some questioned whether someone's son was surreptitiously observing, listening to music, gathering information, and moving in the background. Fallout was another phrase that surfaced, implying that a significant moment might be near. Where the explosion will occur was a topic of discussion. Would it be between Papoose and Claressa, or between Papoose and Remy? Some even believed that the true conflict was still to come. The terms nuke and fame were also associated with the same number. Fans claimed that becoming famous felt particularly significant. Claressa had put a lot of effort into earning respect and distinction in her professional life. Every victory, every headline, and every moment of attention had been earned by her. Some others think Papoose was also seeking attention in an effort to remain relevant in a field that changes swiftly. There were persistent rumors that he was having marital problems. Stress related to money was discussed. They discussed emotional separation. They discussed the increasing discrepancy between what was displayed in public and what may be going on behind closed doors. Some even asserted that Papoose had been hanging out with a more powerful and wealthy person. That notion fueled the flames. It's true. It was argued that this went beyond simple betrayal. It has to do with maintaining one's reputation. It was about creating a future, even if it meant hurting someone else in the process. That's accurate, dude. All of it was not Spugazi. My family is large. For example, if you truly follow me and aren't just there to talk, you will see my mother, my sisters, my daughter, and a host of other stunning ladies that adore me. Meanwhile, Claressa kept up her diligent efforts to defend her reputation. She was really concerned about her reputation. Her career had been founded on her strength, dedication, and discipline. Whispers claims that Papoose was networking behind the scenes in an effort to advance in the business. The stress simply increased because divorce was not mentioned in public. Everyone kept a tight eye on things, attempting to determine who was actually in charge. The narrative then took an odd turn. People started speculating that Claressa might have contributed more to Papoose's divorce than anyone had anticipated. Some claimed that she was prepared to assist with paying the legal fees herself if he really wanted to go. There was a rumor that she didn't even consider money because she cared so much. Many thought she would have intervened without hesitation if he had told her he couldn't afford attorneys. That brought up another query. Did he decline her offer? Or were Remy and Papoose both moving in ways that nobody could fully comprehend? According to Street Talk, Remy abruptly withdrew the divorce papers, which further complicated matters. The number of hypotheses reappeared. Fans claimed that the number 87 was associated with the term sneaky, which led them to speculate about what might be going on behind closed doors. Old age was another term that surfaced, which some interpreted as an indication that Papoose and Remy were playing a long game. They were supposed to move quietly and gently, maintaining control and putting their names front and center. Many thought they had perfected a methodical approach, like a leisurely bustle that never hurried but consistently landed on its feet. Some compared it to a chess match in which the majority of players could only see half of the board. The word ultimate fighter then appeared. It was closely linked to Claressa. She was renowned for her fortitude and tenacity. Fans described her as someone who persisted no matter how difficult things grew, saying it felt like the numbers were calling her out. That's known as Memorial Weekend among my friends and family. I believe I'll spend the weekend with my new family of battle rats and show you guys a few more. Yes, it will be awesome. You will adore it. Another term that came up was Truman, which brought to mind the film in which the protagonist gradually comes to the conclusion that everything in his life is a lie. A skillfully constructed illusion includes friends, everyday life, and even simple moments. Some viewers speculated that Claressa might be experiencing a similar situation. They thought she might be surrounded by individuals who were secretly working against her while grinning at her face. Many were uncomfortable with this notion. The narrative began to feel more like a film than a rumor. Love intertwined with wealth, loyalty entangled with celebrity, and trust put to the test by hints of deceit. Some claimed that every action seemed deliberate, as if every moment had been thoughtfully chosen. In addition to being connected to Claressa, the numerical patterns were also connected to Papoose. One word that came up was number of the beast, which had a sinister, eerie sound. Another phrase, soul, alluded to something more profound, as though there was more going on than just surface-level drama. Old age was frequently accompanied by the phrase retire. That was interpreted by others as a hint that Papoose would play for a very long time. Until he made the decision to leave on his own terms, it was assumed that he would continue to move discreetly in the background, preserving his reputation while making covert maneuvers. The discussion regarding his true name then began. He was identified as Shamu Maki in some documents. Some said Willie was his first name. Fans said that the full name Willie Shy Maki connected to a phrase implying someone adept in deceit when they ran it through their number system. Eyebrows were raised by such a notion. Online users reported that the energy surrounding him seemed unsteady, almost surreal. Many people agreed that the patterns in the music no longer felt random, regardless of their significance. New terms emerged as the narrative progressed. There were shockwaves from ritual blood sacrifice. People wondered who it might refer to and what it might represent. Remy was ruled out by most. Given that old age kept showing up next to Papoose's name, they were skeptical that it was directed at him. Mark is a hidden hand, another statement, conjured images of someone working behind the scenes. Discussions concerning influence, power, and covert relationships were triggered by the term Rockefeller Foundation. Fans were reminded of Claressa by Mark, who remained unbeaten. Ultimate Champion emerged, connecting to her again. After my uncle passed away not so long ago, the name Camille Mackey emerged. You understand what I mean, my cousin? Growing up, we were more like brothers. She also completed tasks that were not entered into their numerical system. On 105, it touched down. When the word tsunami emerged, people became anxious. A tsunami is unavoidable, strong, and noisy. Touchdown was another word that implied impact and arrival. People observed parallels to unexpected financial changes, covert organizations, and even terms like death and demise under the same number. Fans noted that MO3 was also a Gemini when the phrase Gemini arose. Then the term bride appeared. People were hesitant because Claressa had recently hinted at marriage. The appearance of Batman was interpreted by some as a metaphor for endings. Claressa's behavior kept changing in the meantime. Calm and spiritual one day, sharp and defensive the following day. A few fans started to back off. They claimed it was difficult to continue standing up for someone who seemed to betray her own followers. As artificial intelligence grew, it became more difficult to trust anything. Videos and photos might be questioned. Even Claressa acknowledged that she had lost her sense of reality. Papoose allegedly continued telling her that everything on the internet was phony and that people were attempting to damage her reputation. There were more numbers. The computer and internet matched the same patterns. 33 and 666 appeared, who were associated with turmoil. The number 1 and 75 then appeared in the image. Babylon the Great emerged. The word bed appeared. It was connected by fans to a video of Claressa feeding Papoose. Chaos gave way to order. Houston continued to show up. The term fate appeared. Another level of mystique was introduced when the name Madonna emerged. Fans started seeing parallels between the narrative and MO3. They point out that as a partner, I had to learn to let her go out there and do her thing and simply support her choice rather than being overly protective. As I mentioned before, when you love someone, you may find yourself offering them advice all the time and attempting to dissuade them from doing certain things. However, she advised me to simply observe how contracts, attention, and money followed his going and to simply support my output. They questioned who actually gains when anarchy reigns. They saw that Claressa was consistently gaining sponsorships and signing deals. She was followed by cameras. Every action she made was followed by headlines. She had the impression that she was living in a film. However, the same question persisted beneath the bright lights. With all this commotion, who is really benefiting? People are keeping a close eye on the news as it progresses. There are those who think that something new is emerging. Some worry that it's a prelude to something more sinister. In any case, one thing seems certain. This is far from the end of the story, and whatever happens next will be unavoidable, loud, and public.